We had well over 1,000 entries for the roles we are including in this film. We meticulously combed through all of the submissions over several months. Some were direct casts, and others had to audition for their roles. How was that experience, and what could have been done better? Everything's a blur for you, X.
Shut up!
Bet he auditioned when he was drinking.
I live in the present. I live in the present, you know?
Yeah,
It's
so
a bit
let's
of a
talk
blur.
about that. I mean, some of you
I went to
guys were
Vegas, I
direct.
think.
Some of you guys were directly cast. Sharon,
Yeah.
I immediately heard her voice, and I said, "That's Ellie and Zara." And there was just no one else. I didn't audition anybody else. I didn't do. So I said, "You're it, girl," and she was like, "Okay." She had
Really?
no idea what she was getting into. I just remember that email, right? She just had no idea what she was getting into.
Oh,
She just
yeah.
knew. Listen, I said, how did we find each other? Was it through Tyler's Discord? I think.
It was through Tyler. He posted it. I
Tyler
think he
Weston
posted
was
it on Twitter,
Yeah.
and that's
I didn't
where
even
I
know you
followed
guys knew
it.
Taylor before.
Oh yeah.
And I followed his link, and the audition scripts were there. And I started looking through, and it's like, okay, I can't do a Ray voice. I can't do a Leia voice. I can't do this voice. Oh, look, there are some people who haven't been spoken yet. And, it's like, okay, I can kind of do Maz Kanata, so I put in for Maz. And there were some others that I did. I mean, I was to the point where I want to be a part of this, even if I have one line and that's it somewhere. I want to be in on this. And when Maria contacted me and said, "We're going to cast you as Ellie," and it's like jaw drops. Because all it was sending in recordings to you. I hadn't had the screen test process that we did for everyone who was subsequent. Tyler and I were the first two cast, and we were both like, "Do you know how this is going to work?" "I have no idea." "Do you know how it's going to work?" "No, not a clue." "I've never done this before, you and me both."
Right. And Tyler, while he does do like voices, it was never in this scale, right? Like, yeah. And so I think that was kind of a similar experience that you guys, you and him both share.
Yeah, and we had worked together in the audio dramatized Dark Disciple series. So he was Voss and I was Ventress. So we knew how to play off of each other.
Yeah, for sure. And so, that's great, just being that Tyler Weston is Anakin Skywalker. So having that is absolutely great. I think, and then for Darth Nil and Darth Talon, and even, Emperor Vitiate, we had so many people submit. Like I said, the dark side, oh my God. Right?
Everybody
Everybody wants to be a bit of the dark side, right? So we had so many submissions in for Darth Nil. So Vincent, if you can talk a little bit about your experience through that, and also let me know, like, what can we do better going into like casting for the TV show and casting for 11 and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I came from a live theater and a film background, and I was looking to get into VO, and so it was pretty random for me. I was on IMDb Pro, and I submitted because obviously Dark Side gonna submit for that, so I can't remember exactly what I read for, but I read for it, and you got in contact, and we started kind of communicating back and forth, and you're like, "I'm actually thinking of you for Darth Nil," because I think I read for someone different, but I might be wrong about that.
I think you might have read for Ben Solo, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole process took a very long time, so a lot. I think initially, yeah, I just kind of sent it in because I wasn't sure. I was like, "Is this supposed to sound like this Ben Solo, like the actual Ben Solo?" I was like, "I'm just gonna kind of put my foot in the door and see what happens." And I mean, the whole process took a really long time, so I kind of forgot about it. And then like a couple months later, it's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna cast you," and I was just like, "Oh, great, awesome, love it." Yeah, so I like, this is a pretty, VO work is a pretty new realm for me. So I don't have like any like, oh, this should be different or this should be better, really notes. But I enjoy the process because I've learned so much about this part of the craft that I don't have as much experience
Yeah.
in. So that's been
Yeah.
quite a pleasure.
Yeah,
for me.
guys, we have some bona fide actors, like real theater and stage actors and film actors. We have people who have been on Broadway that are part of this cast. So
It's incredible.
It's crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. And how about you,
And
Ross?
we have
Like,
people who auditioned for one thing and were cast for something completely different because we said,
Yes.
why don't you try this?
Yep, absolutely. And Ross, I mean, you and I mean, we knew each other before that, but you did kind of go up against other folks. You did actually have an audition process.
Yeah.
Why does Rob say it like that? What happened?
It was insane. Like I remember it was like after a live stream one night, you're like, bro, I got so many voice submissions. Like, do you want to look over some of these? Like, tell me what you think, because we've been
Yes.
talking about what you were doing, and at some point,
I remember this because I think we were struggling with the casting of Luke Skywalker.
yeah, and we were
the guy
listening
that
through the
was
voices.
Luke, yeah. Garland Rogers, who now plays Luke Skywalker, hadn't submitted yet. So we were just like going through all those submissions.
And we weren't really happy with like a
Most
lot
of
of
the other
them.
ones. Right.
And then some, I don't remember what it was, but there's like a point of pride for me that this thing kind of came about the same way Harrison Ford got Han Solo.
Yes!
Was that I was reading along, and then you're like, hey, let me try this. I can read for Vitiate, and then I did it, and you were like, hold that thought. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. And then I think you talked to your husband. You talked to your husband, and you're like, I think maybe we should maybe try to get this guy.
Yes,
And
Jake is in the chat. So yes.
And
I
I'm like,
remember that distinctly.
yeah. And so yeah, I did it. I auditioned, and then I remember you guys like drastically changed the voice, because the first one that I did, I went into a meeting with you, and then there were a couple other cast members, and they were like, bro, you got to bring the gravel way back.
Way down. Yeah.
Way back.
I remember that.
Way back.
Chris
I think, yeah,
was
Chris,
in
you
that.
were in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah,
Were you there, Sharon?
We were reading off the
Sharon
board.
was too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And
We were in
yeah,
rehearsals.
everybody's like, yeah, just let's tone the gravel down. And then I don't remember who it was. They were like, okay, now I'm sure that's the one. That's the one we got to do.
Oh man, I wish I was there to hear it. I would have totally loved
Yeah.
to
It
hear
was
more.
it was so
Sharon-
cool.
It was great to have Sharon be one of the first ones that we cast, because we literally had her, go into the auditions as a mirror. So for those of you
Yeah.
who don't
Yeah.
know, mirrors are casted people. The people that are cast in your film can be asked to mirror for an audition, meaning so that person that's auditioning has someone to act against, because it brings out the best in that audition. I'm sure Vincent can speak to that as he is a physical actor. And so that, I think that process was great, because once we got Sharon in to do that with him, with Ross, it was great, because we were like, yep, that's the one. And I mean, Sharon knows, because Sharon was part of she was a mirror for all the other Emperor Vitiates we got.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
the chemistry between Sharon and X was so great. And we
Yeah,
were like,
that
that's
was
we need.
what finally decided it. Was
that is.
Oh my
I
god,
like
it
Sharon.
has to be X. It
It
has
has
to be.
It has to be.
Yeah,
Yes.
we got along really well, and like, dude, to do what you're doing in this is, I mean, like, all props in the world to Sharon. We tried it multiple different ways to see if we could make it work, but eventually, like, you have to go with the person who's like way better at this to try to mirror what the other person is doing. And it's really incredible. It's
Yes,
incredible.
because I mean, I might be giving a little bit away, but the reason we say that Sharon and X are two halves of one whole is because X, in his character, he's still kind of disembodied, and so he's kind of toying with with trying to get himself to be whole again, and that's kind of one of the big plots of the movie. Is he wants to be human again, and well, not human, it doesn't matter to him, but he wants to
Physical.
be powerful. Yeah, he wants to be in
Corporeal.
corporeal. That is the
Corporeal.
There you go.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's my 25-cent word for today.
Yeah.